Hi there, it's Dave here from Logitech G, reporting from E3, and I'm joined by Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
Hello. Matt's just been to see Total War: The Three Kingdoms. Matt, sounds amazing. Tell us first and foremost, when is it actually set?
So it's set in 169 AD, which is a really interesting time in Chinese history. It's all about the reunification of the country. A lot of warring factions set against each other, a lot of huge, really notable heroes taking each other on and trying to wrestle power, eventually, historically, bringing China under the leadership of one person.
Sounds fantastic. It must be like a really interesting, visually rich environment, right? Is this quite a departure?
Yeah, it is, and the visual thing's really interesting actually. So one of the things I focused on specifically with the campaign map is giving it a very sort of artistic, sort of East Asian appearance. So the campaign map looks incredible. It looks like sort of an ink painting that's full of colour. I think people on Reddit that love Total War have already been really excited about just how colourful the game is, because traditionally, and recently as well, the colour palette has been quite muted, but that's no longer the case here. So yeah, and it looks lovely. So I think that, on first appearance when you're in the battle mode, this is the Total War that you know and love. So it's the same sort of scale, same sort of units, but there are some key differences, and the big thing, the big difference I think in terms of a historical Total War game is just how much characters matter.
Amazing. So we had characters in Total War Warhammer before, but what are they like here and how do they work?
So there is a similarity. The big difference is that they are not sort of singular units. So a lot of the time in Total War Warhammer, some of the characters could roam on their own and perform different actions. So they're still part of a larger force. So they're still in armies. But the way that they've kind of enriched them and changed things is really, really interesting. So personality traits are a huge thing this time around. So they all interact with each other. You have some characters that will have certain traits that don't gel well with other characters. So if you have a really good general who is greedy, if you put him with someone who's charitable, they're going to hate each other. But it's not simply about whether or not people like each other. There are elements that kind of convince them to try harder to win your affection, for want of a better word. And there are loads of elements that kind of come into play in terms of how characters work that make this feel already like a slightly different Total War experience. So crucially, one of the things that's really different is that each character you have brings their own retinue. So if you're building an army, you have to have a number of characters. So you don't just have one general and then all of their units, you have three. And if two of those characters don't get on, then your army isn't going to function in the same way. Conversely, if two of them are really good mates and one of them gets killed, the other one's going to go berserk. So you're bringing in a whole new element to Total War. We saw a little bit of this character stuff, like you've always had characteristics in Total War and you've always had traits, and sort of standalone really tough characters always existed in Total Warhammer, but this definitely feels like an expansion of that in a really, really kind of nourishing and quite clever way.
Fantastic. I mean, we've been playing a lot of Total War Thrones of Britannia recently. How does the actual on-the-battlefield gameplay feel different, or an evolution from where we are today?
I mean, the bread and butter stuff is similar. So, your rock, paper, scissors as Total War is still there. So, you're going to be sending your cavalry against your other people's archers. You're going to be using spearmen against cavalry. But the big difference, again, is how the characters work. And this is probably... I actually failed at this when I did it because there's a new mechanic called dueling. So you find you take one of your characters and you find an opposing character from another faction, and if you want to, you can duel with them. So you kind of you call them out basically. You stand up in your crowd of people and you kind of wave at them and they bring it on, and they'll come and try and fight you. But it doesn't work like a normal Total War game. So they're not just sort of like smacking each other. We're talking big, cinematic, like Jet Li wushu. These guys get close up at each other. They're kind of spinning their spears and doing backflips over each other and stuff. It looks incredible. It didn't work when I did it because the guy ran away immediately, so I didn't get to see the cutscene. Just because we were so close to the end of the battle that he was ready to go. That feels really different, and there are loads of other interesting mechanics of that as well. In that, if you decide that you're going to lose this duel, and actually, you want to like Ned Stark, Jaime Lannister, stick a spear through the guy's leg while he's not watching, you can do that. But like your character will suffer because of it, and it will count as you losing the duel because basically you wimped out. So it's quite a deep thing, and it's quite different and really exciting.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Matt. If you have any questions about Total War 3 Kingdoms, please drop them in the comments below. Leave us a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more great videos from E3.